C'est parti.
Oui.
Alors, tiens, file-moi le micro. Pourquoi Dieu a permis que je sois homo ou que certains soient durablement homo?
Déjà, je pense que c'est pas vraiment la pensée de Dieu que je le sois comme ça. Parfois, il y a des choses qui se passent de génération en génération par rapport à ce qui se fait. Donc, c'est pas forcément ce que Dieu l'a voulu, c'est que bon, Dieu le permet. En tout cas, en effet, ça fait partie pour moi du péché adamique. Je sais pas comment on peut dire ça exactement. C'est ce qu'on dit souvent dans le milieu catholique, c'est notre croix. Pour moi, c'est la croix en fait par rapport à l'homosexualité à avoir dans le sens où pouvoir m'approcher davantage de Dieu malgré cette déficience, qu'on va dire. Enfin, oui, je sais pas déficience, mais cette
Cette maladie.
cette malédiction.
Hello, my name is Philippe Arigno. I'm 39 years old. I'm Franco-Spanish and I live in Paris. I'm a writer and blogger. I advocate what the Catholic Church asks of people who are permanently homosexual, namely continence. That is to say, homosexual abstinence given to the world and the Church.
Hi, I'm Perrine Colombel. I'm 34 years old. I'm from Marseille in France, and I'm currently working as a waitress in London. In this film, I testify on my homosexuality and the link it has with my faith. And I'm very proud to be the only woman on the set.
Hello, my name is Guillaume Gourina. I'm 21 years old. I'm French, but I have one foot in Germany. I'm a man, but I've always felt like a woman. So I'm transgender. And I love Jesus and the Catholic Church.
Hi, I'm Christian Mercado. I'm 33 years old. I am Mexican and I live in Mexico City. I'm a makeup artist and I came to France to represent the LGBT community in my country, as well as the Virgin of Guadalupe.
Hey, I'm Eric Chevillard, Rico for short. Well, I'm 47 years old and I decided to move to Lourdes to live close to the Virgin Mary. And I want to show that homosexual attraction are not a burden on faith.
Hi, how are you? My name is Yerson Gonzalez, I'm 24 years old, I'm from Lima, Peru. I'm a professional photographer and I also do audiovisual projects. I'm taking part in this film because I want to defend the truth about homosexuality and help those who are going through the same situation as us and who want to meet Jesus and find meaning in their lives.
Hi, how are you? My name is Santiago Mejia Osorio. I'm 29 years old. I know, I don't look like it. I live in Colombia, in Bogota. I'm a graphic designer and a digital strategist. I am participating in this filming because I am looking for a spiritual response to my homosexuality. And I want to be able to help others and be a witness to other people who share my condition and my feelings without having to repress our homosexuality or feel bad about ourselves.
What type of gay person are you?
I place myself in the category of people who are transgender and have stopped doing their transition.
I don't really like to be in this category, but I would say I'm a lesbian with a bisexual tendency because I dated men, but it was before I was 20. And for a few years, I've been considering myself as homosexual and I stay single for Jesus.
I consider myself as a homosexual person that in my country is called boho, but homosexual at the time. This is to say that I was born into a fairly wealthy family who did not expect to have given birth and education to a gay person, but I arrived.
Well, I feel a same-sex attraction, so that's known as homosexuality. So we could say, I guess, that I am in that category.
I would put myself on the side of the precursors. It means that even if I don't know if I have felt an attraction for people of the same sex since birth, there were still very early signs that I felt this inclination there in me. So I'm on the side of the precursors. I'm also on the side of twins, because I've met a lot of people who are twin and who feel gay, and then I would say that afterwards I don't reduce myself to my sexual inclination. So I'm also a homosexual person who feels first of all a man and a child of God, then continent, so abstinent for Jesus.
I can say I'm a homosexual person who deeply believes in religion. And I don't have any issue with that. I have felt this since I was a child, and I grew up that way, and I'm happy.
Why did you come in this shooting?
Well, I came because we have to be aware of the signs of the times. I think that what's happening right now is very important. It's essential that people acknowledge another dimension of the life of gay people. And then, I would like other people who also have the same feelings as us can recognize themselves in our roots and know there's another way of life and let them know they can become saints as well.
I take part in this film because I want to make people aware that homosexuality is not a personal subject, and it's not just a matter of feelings. It concerns what is deepest within us, that is sexuality and faith. So it's everyone's concern, and not just those who feel a homosexual inclination. On the other hand, at the moment, the Church is persecuted for its teaching about homosexuality. The people don't leave the Church and won't hold it against the Church, either because of advanced theological questions. They actually think that the Church and its people are homophobic and are against homosexual people. So I would like to put an end to this prejudice. And above all, also explain, without complaining but simply by warning, that if we Catholics don't like homosexual people, well, we're going to be attacked on that. And so I ring the alarm bell.
What do you expect from this documentary?
I really hope with this film people will stop thinking that we, gay people, are either monsters or with beings which should be feared, as we are not. We gay people can give ourselves. We gay people can take good decisions. We can truly love, and we can be saints as well.
Maybe I'd like to better understand how to live continence. For example, sometimes I don't make the difference between continence and abstinence. And I'd like to meet other people who are like me, homosexuals and Catholics, and see how they live with their homosexuality.
I want people to listen us, homosexual people, before they care for what we can do with our inclination. But first, what are we talking about? to listen to us and to be interested in the people, in spite of being interested in either an ideology or a lobby or all the theories about homosexuality. It's the people first.
Why is it so difficult to talk about homosexuality in society?
I think it's so difficult to talk about homosexuality honestly, because there are radical groups on both sides. There are people who don't want to talk about it, that are disgusted about it, or have shut off to it. There are groups who want to homosexualize everything. I think that's the reason why it's difficult to talk honestly about homosexuality today.
Well, because the best definition about homosexuality is, I think, a fear. It's the fear of sexual difference. And then, fear is feared to be talked about. And the other reason, I think, which makes the treatment of homosexuality very difficult, is that the word homosexuality gathers the whole word belief to the word love. And then, homosexuality deals with all kinds of feelings of the people. That's why in TV shows, and even in families and friends, one strike one another as soon as homosexuality is mentioned. Because homosexuality is really a question of feelings. And now, everyone vindicates the force of their feelings. No one wants to talk about the ambiguity of these very feelings. And then homosexuality links us to suffering and to violence done in the name of love and feelings. Everyone is very touchy about this subject.
How did you discover your homosexuality?
Since I've been 5 years old, I've had the feeling of being a different boy. I already felt I shared the tastes of girls. Concretely, I spent most of my time with them. I can't say I was already gay, strictly speaking, at this age, because it was very unconscious for me, but I knew I was different from other people.
I think I was 13 the first time I felt attraction for a girl of my class. But thinking about it, I felt it when I was 7 too, something for a girl. But it is only at teenage I can say I had conscious of these attractions.
I always knew I was a homosexual. I was born in the 90s. In biology, I saw pictures of naked women and naked men, and every time my look went on men. I felt something happen inside of me. It deeply piqued my curiosity. Then the internet era came, and one thing led to another. I had occasions to look for naked men pictures instead of women ones. And the impetus was so strong, I started feeling intense attractions and a lot of curiosity. What we call obsessions.
It was by the pictures of magazines. I wasn't happy to be a boy, I wanted to be a girl, I doubted lots of my body. Homosexuality is erotic attraction, but it came only at teenage and puberty, when I was 10. And it was the magazines and films too, not a classmate, which unveiled to me that I was attracted by boys. In particular, it was the film The Big Blue, and even biology books in secondary school, where we start talking a little about reproduction, and where we see naked men and women in books.
How did you discover your transidentity and your bisexuality?
So my transidentity, I understood it quite late, like around the age of 15. But I started wondering how I felt when I was 8, when I used my mom's makeup or some of her clothes in the bathroom. And then, as a general rule, I hang out much more with girls than with boys, except from my adolescence, since I was in a boarding school only for boys,
I found out I was bisexual when I was in high school.
because I fell in love with a boy I had sex with.
Was it hard to find out about your homosexuality?
Mon dernier voyage m'entraîne loin de toi, une mer inconnue.
Yeah, it was difficult. I was born at a time where people weren't so open. Also, I was the eldest of 3 siblings. I had 2 sisters after me. That's why my father, in a way, had put a lot of expectations in me. I also suffered of growing in a very remote region, Irapuato, Guanajuato, Mexico, where I used to be bullied because I looked different, but also because everyone would treat me differently. So it was really hard for me for these 2 reasons. On one side, when my father realized I was homosexual, and on the other, being harassed at school in the name of this so-called difference.
Not really, no. It often felt obvious to me. I drank sometimes. Dreams would disgust me a bit. Yeah, I'd feel disgust sometimes. But no, it wasn't something terrible to think. I am a lesbian.
Yeah, finding out about my transsexuality was really difficult, mostly because of the context. I was part of a pretty traditional male-only boarding school, and this made things hard. I repressed it a lot. It took me a long while to admit it. I would always try to repress it through super masculine behaviors and habits, sports, attitudes, etc. It became a time bomb. All this didn't help really. Regarding my bisexuality, no, I never really suffered from it.
How did you experience to be a homosexual at school?
Well, clearly, badly. It would have really been easier not to be homosexual at high school. I came out at college, being different, not corresponding to the social image of being a man. Violently came to my figure. Once, I was surrounded by all my male classmates in 2nd grade at high school. I was around 11 or 12. They didn't even tell the girls. I think that when you're different, especially when you're not comfortable with your own gendered body, it can motivate violence from young mates around you who are also constructing themselves as men. So yeah, in high school I suffered, even though I wasn't really the weirdo. I wasn't exactly a scapegoat in my class. They just came and hit me a moment I wasn't expecting it. It was the day before the last day of school. It really made me think even more guys were all assholes. Since then, I made friends with some of them, and I do have a lot of great boyfriends. But I think moments like these in high school, of strong violence and harassment, they can disgust someone of all men and of being oneself a man. What's funny in their story, one of the guys asked me to forgive them, him and all the other classmates, and his name is, not kidding, it's really true, his name is Arnaud the Male. The Male! And I think in a way, Arnaud might have apologized for all males and allowed not to become too crazy about all of them, not to become mad at all boys, and even helped me reconciliating with my own masculinity, with all men as an adult. Apart from that, yeah, I was lonely. I only had a few friends, and really, chaplaincy at school saved me, gave me my first friends, so it was Jesus.
How are represented childhood and adolescence figures in pro-gays movies?
In this specific case, childhood in homosexuality is treated as pedophilia. Let's start with a movie called The Last Girl that portrays a black little zombie girl. Sexual attraction is suggested through the movie as a female teacher pays more and more attention to the little girl, just like if she would fall in love with her. Here, there's a clear reference to an ambiguous person and to a tiny little girl who also feels lesbian attraction. People who make movies about homosexuality often idealize childhood as a place where their homosexual desire can come to life. Homosexual movies also treat childhood in relation with rape and sexual abuse issues. In the movie Mysterious Skin, we can see hypersexualized children around 5-6 years old with adolescent or adult-like sexual desires. From a cinematographic perspective, it is like monstrosity, just as if they were adults in children's bodies. Another way to represent homosexuality in movies in the most natural way consists in providing supernatural powers to a little boy or girl or a criminal inclination. For instance, some of Pedro Almodovar movies, like What Did I Do to Deserve This? Or High Heels, showcase kids with superpowers, repressed by their status of children. It's a bit as if kids incarnated innocence, but also sin. In movies or media, teenagers often provide an alibi to justify homosexuality. For instance, the movie Death in Venice shows the search for inspiration for a body and spiritual ideal of a German artist. He spends a holiday in Venice, where the scenario showcases a mysterious character, Tadzio, a handsome, solar, androgynous young man who looks like an adolescent through the whole plot. The movie shows homosexual and pedophile fantasy, showcasing an elder man sexually attracted to an efphebe. Both look like adults, but you can feel how unbalanced their relationship is. Movies also often show the delicate moment of adolescence when young heroes come out and find themselves confronted to interior dilemmas because of this. Many filmmakers demonize adolescents. They literally extract them from the world they belong to and turn them into patients. A famous TV film in the LGBT community called Prayers for Bobby shows a teenager in open conflict with his family, his mother, and his church. Bobby is demonized by lack of self-insurance. He is encouraged to do his worst. He gets to go with other men, to lose himself in gay bars, to run away from his family, his friends, to literally ruin his life, before his mother and brother realize that he is someone else. His life is worth living, and that he had to go through all this to achieve his goal. He finally comes to suicide before his mother gets strong enough to tell other parents and the community she's made up with her son. Nowadays, gay-friendly filmmakers also use the figure of babies to justify homosexual relationships and adoption. For instance, in the movie Just Like Any Others, a gay Parisian couple wants to have a child. One of the men meets a woman from Argentina on the street. She offers him to get pregnant to help them starting a family in order to achieve their dream. In return, they must promise they will help her to get a legal status in France, so she can stay in Europe, more precisely in Paris. Finally, in movies, the baby becomes a practical solution to material agreements between adults. Two recent movies are the exact cases to show how filmmakers can manipulate children's perception of homosexuality. The first one is Despicable Me. The movie showcases little creatures called the Minions, all male, all super excited, with a high-tone voice, with childish, unstoppable behaviors, all looking like an army of asexual workers. Through the movie, a few scenes subtly show two minions kissing or a drunk minion kissing another one on the mouth. Cherry on the top, the movie Despicable Me 2 ends on the emblematic song of the LGBT community, YMCA, by the Village People. It is another way to end the movie on a clear homosexual message. The second movie is In a Heartbeat, a short movie that was released on YouTube around 2017 with an openly homosexual message. A boy in high school loves one of his classmates and wants to go out with him. In the movie, strong homosexual desires were transposed on Walt Disney-like characters. What makes the movie even more disturbing and can explain the high number of views on YouTube. Another way to showcase homosexuality to kids and to play with teenagers' feelings, to take them to the way adults idealize homosexuality and think of love relationships. And still, all these movies never show how the adolescent love relations end. Do you feel satisfied after a homosexual relationship? Does it really fulfill us completely?
How one can be sure to really be homosexual?
I think it's a question most young people come up with at some point when they are teenagers. To me, it felt so obvious that I didn't really question it at that time of my life. It was all about how strong it is to fall in love, how deeply I can love a girl, or sometimes, but very rarely, a boy. That's what made me think I was a lesbian. I don't feel disgust by men, rather indifference only. I try to go on dates with boys. This indifference may have hurt boys too. Maybe also, in some way, I locked myself down in my homosexuality. Once, a priest told me that maybe, one day, I might love a boy. It really shook me. I felt that in a way, I might have locked myself down in my homosexuality. Also, by practicing it, it may have ended up stronger. Well, I guess I'll never know if I never dated girls, I'd still be a homosexual.
I did try to have sex with girlfriends. My body just wouldn't feel anything or react. I felt I was obstructed. I felt very sad, deeply inside of me. It was partly due to the distance I had put with God at that time. Also because I didn't understand what was happening. Until one day, I remembered as a kid, I would have lots of sexual fantasy towards men. So I came to experience a relationship with a man. When we met with that guy, my body reacted instantly. I felt all my senses. My hands became sweaty, my heart started pounding, I had erections, and I was emotional. A smile would come on my face. Those reactions didn't really happen thanks to my relationship with that man. It was mostly because of this intimate discovery I was experiencing. That was a key moment to me. I told myself, I cannot deny what is happening. This is when I realized I was a homosexual.
I do feel attracted to people of my gender, but this doesn't make me a homosexual. What I mean is, it's not about my own identity. I am a man erotically attracted to other men. So concerning the question, could I be sure of my homosexuality? We shouldn't say I am, because this attraction is only about I feel.
I'm not homosexual, I'm bisexual. That means I can either feel attracted to a girl or a boy, even if it feels quite different. With a girl, I would more likely feel affection. Like if I needed to fill a gap, which is probably related with my transsexuality. With boys, it's clearly much more sexual. It's maybe easier for me to answer the question, how do you know you're transsexual? It's the type of question I never really asked myself, because even before I turned 10, I would feel like a girl.
It's a question I heard a lot from young people. They expect to be provided with objective criteria, because they fear to be themselves reduced to their tendency. They seek clear answers, clear indications. Actually, there aren't any. It's not an idea that comes up to you suddenly one day when you come out of bed like sting. What? I'm a homosexual. It's progressive. And whatever happens, sexuality is a mystery, a path. Some people may feel homosexual at some point in their life and then their tendency disappears. On my side, time helped me realize I was durably homosexual. But even, I don't know what can happen in the future. Time confirmed my inclination was durable, deeply rooted inside me. There's also that disgust feeling I have with people from the other sex. I never felt attracted to a naked woman. I can't imagine being touched by a woman. It happened once in my life. Also, the idea of kissing a woman, it's that feeling I have towards women, even towards one woman I intended to love, that makes me think, okay, yeah, here I'm confronted to a fear and a disgust that I can't overcome. So, it's not just an anecdote, not just something I fancy, it's something serious. When you feel disgusted or just indifferent, especially as a man, when you have no ardor, you feel no desire. Physical desire does stimulate feelings. When you don't feel physically attracted to someone, well, in general, feelings cannot exist. So, in my case, what made me think, what still makes me think and confirms I have a durably and deep homosexual inclination, it really is an absence of desire or physical attraction. I just have no hard-on in front of women. And you know, a hard-on, that's quite self-explanatory enough, right?